remember how in Winx, that one time they changed the animation style to 3D when they were mermaids? Well, apparently the creator of Winx decided to just make a whole mermaid show. Mermaid Magic on Netflix, not sponsored. At the very least, the animation is an uncanny valley like it was in Winx. It's actually gorgeous. So these girls live in a remote world where they have magical powers beyond just turning into mermaids. Thank goodness, I didn't want this to just be H2O all over again. There's mermaid dogs? You have my interest.
Thanks, but I need to do better than Messy. Someday I may have to step up and protect Mertropia.
How much do you want to bet they're going to have a version of that necklace with like real gold and diamonds? I don't think it's likely, but I feel like that's their intention.
Better hurry, we're gonna be late for class. I am going to be the queen of social media one day. Do I really need to know math?
No, 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 no. Guys, so many kids want to be influencers when they grow up. It's actually a problem. Listen, what I do is definitely a lot more cushy than working like fast food. As someone who was a cashier at Carl's Jr. / Hardee's, depending on where you are in America, I much prefer this job, don't get me wrong. But people don't understand that you're basically working all the time, especially when you first start out, because when you first start out, you're basically starting a new small business. And so if you wanna make it big, you either need to have a lot of time or a lot of dedication. And coming up with ideas that other people haven't done, or having to pivot everything you're doing because the algorithm changed, having to constantly generate and search new things to do or talk about on your channel, and also be the editor and the script writer and the social media manager and the person that handles all the money. It's a little bit more of a mental load than people think it is. And you can't just copy what's popular. You can't just copy what's popular. That almost never works. And so many of these kids think that being an influencer is just having fun and posting stuff online, and it's not. More importantly, if you can't just do what's popular, because if it's popular, then you're already too late, or you're just chasing a trend, and that's not going to be good for long-term sustainable growth. You may get one viral video, you may get one video with a bunch of views, and that's it. That doesn't transfer into subscribers, that doesn't transfer into followers, that doesn't transfer into an audience that knows you produce regular content of a certain quality that will come back every time you release a video. We should not be glorifying being an influencer. I didn't start doing this just because I wanted to be an influencer. I'm a dork with a lot of hyper niche interests, and I wanted to talk about them. And that's all this is. That's the real trick to it all. You appeal to a niche until you just develop enough of an audience to where it's not entirely a niche anymore. For super long-term viewers of this channel, I started off talking about trading card games. I started off talking about Force of Will. Anybody remember that? It wasn't Yu-Gi-Oh! It wasn't Pokemon or Magic. It was a card game pretty much no one knew about. And I did it because I loved card games. And then that eventually changed into toys, because I also just love toys, which also just changed into animation because toys and cartoons kind of go hand in hand. Honestly, I'm a little upset that I don't talk about toys more often and collect toys and show them off. And that's just because I need to get videos out in a timely manner in order to make money, in order to pay my bills. Like, don't get me wrong, I want to do those really big deep dives. You know what? Hang on. Shout out to Jet Kuso for making a video on lightsabers and like doing a whole deep dive into how lightsaber fights have evolved through the lens of lightsaber toys. It has literally changed my opinion on how Star Wars is being tackled nowadays. This is the content I used to produce, and now I kind of can't anymore without having to really like put a lot of stress on myself, because I'm doing this all alone. Sorry, it annoyed me so much. I hate seeing these cartoons with influencers because it's trendy, because that's what kids want. So Merlinda is a princess training to protect her kingdom. Sasha is an influencer, as you've seen, and Nerissa is basically Merlinda's training buddy best friend. I like how there's a general Grecian inspiration to everything, and they do a quick flyby showing how amphibious creatures like mermaids would live their lives. Her father, the king, doesn't like how she's training to be a warrior because, you know, she's gotta do princess stuff. Then bad stuff happens and it gets really spooky. Big Magic Fabrial loses Magic Rock and then everything is better, just that simple, but we only got so many of those special rocks.
How long before they all lose their power?
At this rate, a month, maybe less.
Gosh, we're running out of those fancy pearls. If only there was someone who could go out and find more pearls. Oh wait, I forgot we have a spunky main character and her gaggle of equally spunky friends.
I can take on these sea monsters.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
I can't just sit here and watch you risk your life.
You haven't seen what I've seen.
This dude has got those Mega Man shoes. What are those? Don't forget about pirates like Barbarossa, not Barbossa. This man's thirst can be quenched. This dude wanted the mermaid's powers and a sea witch made him a talisman that can suck away their life force powers. That's almost literally just a ripoff of Pirates of the Caribbean. Like Barbossa and Calypso, the sea witch, a pirate and a sea witch. I know it was Davy Jones and Calypso that kind of had a relationship going on, so it's not quite the same, I understand. It's a very small part of Pirates of the Caribbean, but it's there as someone who really likes Pirates of the Caribbean. I really want to do a deep dive into Pirates of the Caribbean. I even have like some of the books here. I really want to do a deep dive on Pirates of the Caribbean. Skipping over awkward boy flirting and bad lying, we get our epic magical girl mermaid transformation because it would be criminal if we didn't. Though I'm hoping they don't, do this too much, since a transformation sequence was usually to pad out episodes back when seasons were like 26 episodes or longer. If they use this too much just for 10 episodes, it would just cheapen the entire experience, and off they go to an adventure. And they're even using pollution again for the bad guys. Really? Just like from Winx? My hopes for this show are now shaky. Everything goes super bad. They lose the map they need to find the pearls, and Merlinda does a big emotional teleportation magic thing and brings them to the big city. Which big city, you ask? Well, it's a big city, and here we have some landlubbers who aren't mermaids.
Don't worry, sis, they'll come back, because they've got us and Operation Deep Clean.
Is that Bryce Papenbrook? Two worlds collide, Little Mermaid style, except he finds out immediately that she is a mermaid. Oh, how convenient that the pollution monsters work for Barbarossa. I guess his thirst can't be parched now. I appreciate how they always try to instill some positive change message into their shows nowadays, like marine life restoration and ocean cleaning. It just feels good, letting kids know that these are important. And apparently Merlinda can heal sea creatures, which is never used again except for this one time. How many powers do they have? I thought she just controlled water. Oh yeah, remember those other clearly not as important characters? They're on the beach.
Wait, where is Merlinda?
I don't know.
I think it's important to point out that her friends immediately thought of Merlinda, and Merlinda hasn't really thought too much about them. We have the typical goofy fish out of water trope. They've never been to the surface world and don't know how the world works here, and they're going to have a rude awakening when they find out mermaids are very popular. I love this. We're adding mermaiding into a mermaid show. You know, that hobby where people buy really expensive tails and roleplay being a mermaid? I always thought Olympic swimmers should be into mermaiding. You need to be able to hold your breath for a super long time to do this hobby, and she immediately thinks that they're holding mermaids hostage, which just goes to show how well made these tails are nowadays. It's like a fursuit for, well, I can't say normal people. I always appreciated their commitment to either making it to where the cool magic stuff is either not a secret and people eventually just accept it, or lean into the fact that nobody would believe them if they saw, because technology just advances that fast. The pollution monsters would be harder to explain away, though.
Merfolk! Your pathetic magic will not stand in my way much longer.
Wait, so you got the voice actor for Cat Noir and Hawkmoth? Is Rainbow just coming after Miraculous Ladybug? Did we really have to add a high school? Oh look, more characters to round out the tropes. Now we have everything we need. I really hope this doesn't last long. And Nerissa keeps thinking literally every person that isn't a mermaid is a pirate, and it doesn't make sense, and it's getting old.
This place is crawling with pirates.
There!
It's not cool if the tough one is randomly aggressive to everything. They stop being tough and just become paranoid. Also, isn't it like a negative stereotype for the one black character to be the aggressive one, especially like a black woman? I can't really comment on that. I'm just echoing what I've heard. And they're big into ocean conservation, so we're going into the social justice warrior stereotype. This is just really bad. Flashback. Big wave of monsters were coming. Portal wouldn't close. So the queen went through the portal to buy time to get the portal closed, and now she's presumably dead. But if I know anything about how Rainbow likes to write characters, I doubt she's really going to stay dead. Also, Merlinda looks really weird as a baby.
My topic is the massive island of garbage. The plastic in the ocean is killing sea life.
I don't see what the problem is. The trash is in the middle of the ocean, right? That's a good place. Nobody lives there.
There is life everywhere on this planet. In the oceans, on the land, it's all connected.
Okay. I know I said how I like them pushing a positive message about keeping the Earth healthy, but this just became a soapbox. This isn't the best way to convey this message.
Celia, I went live on Hey You. Now your phone is blowing up. That heartfelt speech thing was great clickbait.
Wow. We've apparently forgotten what clickbait means. I guess we don't really have normal videos with massive breasts on YouTube anymore. That was clickbait. Now it's videos about girls with massive breasts showing off their massive breasts, and that's technically not clickbait. That's just delivering on the advertised content. They just figured a way to make it not NSFW, and they're okay. When I was in high school, there was a rumor that there was an abandoned pool underneath the school, but a giant underground system that leads to an underground river? Now that's impressive. And the most unrealistic thing in this entire show.
Even down here, humans leave garbage everywhere.
We're not all bad.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Listen, you're right. However, this is getting preachy very fast. Gosh, don't humans just suck? Aren't humans just terrible? You should be ashamed of being who you are. You're part of the problem, and that's wrong. Our ocean's pollution is all your fault, and not the fault of bad government policies or companies that are illegally or sadly legally dumping their waste. That is so much stress to put onto someone, let alone the kids who are no doubt watching this show, that of which is their target demographic. Monster attack, and conveniently, Celia remembers that she saw Merlinda's mom's trident ring. The dog is finally useful. What a good boy. Now she can stop being beaten up and finally be useful in a fight. Oh my goodness, do you think that magic tridents will be to mermaiders the same way fantasy swords is to LARPers?
This is my mother's trident ring. Celia, how did you...
I came across it when I was cataloging donations to the museum.
Maybe it was a good thing we went to that school full of pirates.
Students.
Oh, hey, look, it's the Mean Girl student's dad. Gosh, I wonder why he's not being attacked.
And you send me just 2 barrels of your wicked brew.
The government can't know that I'm producing toxic waste. I have an eco-friendly brand to maintain.
There we go. That's what I was waiting for.
Sorry, little fish.
Hey, that fish lost its mom too. You're like siblings! By using the power of childhood trauma, Merlinda manages to unlock a new level in her princess powers, which also tips off the sea witch we talked about earlier. This show has so far been mostly spectacle. The jokes fall flat, and every other part of the show is just preaching about ocean life conservation. I'm hoping they're focusing on getting all the messages out of the way in the beginning before really settling onto the actual story. It's been 4 episodes, and I forgot they were supposed to be finding the pearls of Neptune. And these things are apparently just around. You just gotta stumble on them. I don't know how they're formed differently than any other pearl. Somehow magic juice is just put into them. Just when they get a pearl, the Sea Witch takes it away. And it took 4 episodes for Barbarossa to find out he wants them to restore his powers. Old baddies back together for revenge. Now with evil pearl magic, Barbarossa can read the map of the pearl locations. Okay, now the show is cooking.
Dinner time, my ocean buds.
My favorite part of the day.
Oh my goodness, I know why she annoys me. She has no forehead. It's barely enough space for her eyebrows.
So, this is where you've been hiding, my mermaid princess.
Okay, but like, that would be a great line for a smutty romance book. And in that voice, hubba hubba, take me away. All right, we're finally getting some real action. Oh, come on. John Silver, the guy who founded the city, that's not really all that important. Yeah, he has a shield that stops him from actually engaging with the main characters. I want them to meet. None of these mermaids even know this guy exists yet. That's the biggest problem in all of this. Okay, there's other problems in this show, but that's the biggest problem that's annoying me right now. They think they have all the time in the world and that there's no tension. I'm craving for the villain to actually be injected into the plot. He has been a B-plot right now, and he shouldn't be a B-plot.
I just had a funny feeling for a minute.
There it is again. That funny feeling.
Hey, Narissa. Nice to see you too.
Oh, he likes having his ass beat for sure, if you know what I mean.
I've been looking all over for you.
I think she likes you.
See, I told you. Is this the barely disguised fetish? That's been the only funny joke in this show so far. It took way too long, but we finally got Barbarossa to face off against the main cast. And it lasts maybe 3 minutes. Hey, remember her love interest back home that was mentioned literally only once? Yeah, they're sending him to bring back Merlinda and maybe cause a love triangle. Yay! Now we have a C plot that I'm not interested in.
Merlinda?
You know, seeing Barbarossa here in person, it somehow got a lot more real.
Yeah, you mean the show got better? Like this should have happened earlier? I agree. Alex is injected into the group immediately because of course he is. At least Barbarossa is delivering. He's turning people into monsters, Power Rangers style. Always down for this. A bunch of nothing happens until their dad says there was some crazy guy 10 years ago who knew about Merlinda's mom's trident ring, meaning he knew her mom. A lot of the time, some random thing comes up that progresses the plot. Not something they do or figure out on their own, and it feels really cheap.
Darkness will battle light for the fate of land and sea. They who become the power of the pearl shall the victor be.
Now there's a prophecy? Did they just give up halfway through this show? They also just don't address this prophecy at all throughout this show. Crazy old man found a stash of power pearls, so now we know where to go. You know, they said that going after the pearls is super dangerous and pretty much everyone dies if they venture out for them. But it wouldn't be that dangerous if Barbarossa wasn't there. All the king really needed to do was send out a big squad to be able to fight Barbarossa, and they could have gotten these pearls pretty easily. I thought the pearls would be inside incredibly unstable trenches or something like this, where it's inside a dormant volcano. That, again, wouldn't be that dangerous if Barbarossa wasn't there. I feel like the king is just incompetent. Well, it only took 70% of the show, but they finally have a couple pearls. And also, there was a communicator that needed to be fixed that I forgot about because I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I just thought she wasn't talking to her dad because she did something illegal, and apparently her mom, who was totally the Sea Witch, is home. So they all make it back home, and with 2 new pearls to keep their home safe. The king is dying. Sasha is really the only one that puts 2 and 2 together and stops the king's assassination and then breaks her jewelry. Yeah, those things get broken a lot.
Highness, what's happening?
Seize her! She tried to poison the king!
No! It wasn't me!
Yeah, duh. Saw that coming a mile away.
There are traitors everywhere.
Are you referring to this attempt on the king's life, Your Highness?
I destroyed her bracelet.
It's called live streaming.
You know what? I'll accept it. They made an influencer character actually useful instead of her just being there to appeal to kids. Then she steals 2 of the pearls, leaving the kingdom closer to its demise. Then they get paralyzed and captured. Time for Alex to actually contribute to the plot. Funny how the mermaid dog has done more than Alex has at this point in time, and they get saved. So we did all of that only to end up right where we began. Nerissa sacrifices herself to buy them time, even though the entire time they're talking, they could have been running away together. Oh no, it's just like Merlinda's mom sacrificing herself to buy her kingdom time. Oh geez, it's all coming together, even though they had enough time to escape. Hey, the crazy guy is here again.
This time you took me by surprise. I had been isolated for so long I wasn't at my best.
That's just Hawkmoth again. Merlinda feels bad for herself and blames herself for everything, even though she was just trying to keep her dad from dying. Like, Barbarossa being there isn't her fault. If it were me, I would be bummed, but I wouldn't just give up like that. Wow, he got a lot of those pearls. And then Alex dies. Honestly, thank goodness, he really didn't contribute to the plot whatsoever. I guess the love interest is obvious now. Oh no, does the CEO feel bad for helping literally the most evil person you've ever met? Boo hoo hoo. Training arc, and pretty much all of the advice the crazy guy gives her isn't helpful or is just wrong. It was written by people that didn't research fighting techniques at all. They're just ripping cool sounding stuff from kung fu movies. It's sad. Whoa, this guy has been staying on the surface for 10 years, researching Merlinda's mom, almost like he was trying to help her. I feel like this was all obvious. Why else would he be there and be so upset at the museum taking the Queen's trident ring?
We'll protect her. You will protect them.
I don't feel like this packs a punch. Also, that's her uncle, apparently. Anyway, I feel like the problem is that the magic powers is so nebulous that there isn't a solid way to understand or even conceptualize or even get the impression of how she has gotten stronger. We are just said to expect that she has progressed somehow. In what way, we're not sure. She just got stronger because she did. Before, it was all emotionally based. Now, I know it's tried and true and done to death, but it's still really good. Emotions drive a story real good. Emotion-based powers, I'm all for it. And I think they were trying to show some sort of growth with her character. What that growth was, I couldn't tell you. Did she reconcile something? Or is she just strong with the mermaid force? Does she have more midichlorians than other people? Does she have more merdichlorians? Merlinda's character doesn't have a character arc. Nobody in this show has a character arc. What they're substituting for a character arc doesn't really change her whatsoever. She's just apparently more powerful and it connects with her dead mom. I don't exactly know how. I see what they're trying to do. The problem is they didn't actually deliver on it. CEO is actually helping. A CEO developing a conscience? Talk about unrealistic. Also, Nerissa is a sea monster now. A super-powered sea monster. Get this, the secret formula that counters the pollutant monsters is soap. Yeah, they're literally just cleaning up.
Guess it's time to take out the trash.
Boo! You stink!
Skipping over a fight scene that didn't amount to much of anything, Barbarossa uses the pearl power to fix up his ship, which also counts as a fully manned crew. It would take like 6 people to operate a cannon. That's actually really impressive. Nerissa just kinda remembers that Merlinda is her friend, also Crazy Guy is there, and they don't help at all. Instead, we get a weird Harry Potter Dumbledore thing where Merlinda talks to her mom.
It's not bravery that makes us strong, Merlinda. It's love. That is the true source of your power.
And just like that, her mermaid force powers become super strong. Strong enough to beat the pirate Sith hatred powers, because that's literally what this boils down to. It's just Star Wars. And then she sucks up Barbarossa's powers and seals him back into the sword. Also, Alex is apparently okay. Also, Nerissa is apparently okay. Tyler and Merlinda aren't technically dating, but they are starting a long-distance relationship. They managed to save the kingdom with the new pearls. This show is riddled with half-baked ideas, hodgepodged into a shell of a story. It relied on spectacle so much that they forgot the kids. The kids also want a good story as well. Like, kids know when a story isn't all that good. They do know that, right? I'm not saying Winx Club deserved any awards, but it was at least better than this. Or maybe not. You know, when I compare the writing of these two, I think I like Winx just because it doesn't pretend to be anything more than what it is. And that's why I like it more. Well, if you liked Mermaid Magic, tell me in the comments below. Follow me on Instagram and Blue Sky. Links are in the description. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay beautiful and keep playing.